What's up, everybody? I'm John Hoover, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, and that means it is day one of on-field workouts at the NFL Scouting Combine. Today, we're going to discuss what's coming for the 4 Oklahoma Sooners who were invited to Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis. Now, I have covered this event a couple of times in the past, and I want to give you guys a little insight as to how it all works, at least from a media perspective. First, if you want more videos like this, please consider subscribing to this channel and or hit that notifications bell so you will be the first to know when a new video posts. And if you click like or if you want to leave me a comment, it does make a difference here on the channel, and I do appreciate each one, I promise. Or just, hey, comment below and let's get to talking about it. Also, please follow me on Twitter at John E. Hoover, or go like and follow my professional Facebook page. That sounds so important. That's at John E. Hoover Media. Okay, let's get it. Sorry you guys haven't heard from me in a while. My son came home from college last weekend, and he may or may not have brought home the coronavirus with him. I'm not kidding. Okay, I'm kidding a little bit. Mrs. Hoover and I both came down with the crud. And if I seem moderately coherent at the moment, it's because I am doped up to the max. Heck, I'll probably be asleep in an hour. Anyway, no time to get sick when it's NFL Combine week. Am I right? Or am I right? Actually, let's back it up a sec. Can you imagine how tough it would be for these guys in the NFL if they show up to the Combine and they've got a cold or they've got the flu or something like that? You see them sit out because of a sprained ankle or a pulled hamstring. But these guys have been working their whole lives for this one opportunity. They've been training for 2 months specifically for this moment. And then you go out there to impress the coaches and scouts and general managers from all around the NFL, some owners. But you've got the crud. You can't perform at your best. I know it's happened before, and it's just awful, awful timing. Along those lines, I want to relay a story that former Oklahoma linebacker Curtis Lofton told me about his Combine experience. It was at the 2008 Combine, and he had just left OU for his, after his junior year to declare for the NFL draft. He had gotten some maybe questionable advice, ended up going in the second round, but, one experience leads you to another. He ended up playing 9 years in the league, so he even made the Pro Bowl, I think, so maybe the advice that he got wasn't so bad after all. Anyway, his Combine experience was just awful. He said he got nervous, as you would expect, and he said the entire 4 days he was in Indy, 4 days, he did not use the facilities. Yeah. For 4 days, he was completely constipated. And so what does he do? He goes out and runs his 40-yard dash in the blazingly slow time of 4.85 and 4.79. So yeah, at that point, it looked like he had indeed made a mistake by leaving school early and declaring for the draft. I mean, who's going to spend a good draft pick on a 6-foot linebacker who runs a 4.8? Nobody. But my man Curtis got himself back to normal again. And at his pro day, back in Norman, he was a lot more, shall we say, regular. And he runs his 40 in 4.67. So more than 1/10 of a second faster than his Combine time. And he became a second-round pick and had a great career. So all that is to say, the Combine can get weird. Yeah. What they're trying to do is take you out of your comfort zone and see how you react. They do it by asking you an occasionally insane question in the team interviews. Stuff like, do you find your mother attractive? What? What's your murder weapon of choice? What? Would you rather be a cat or a dog? And of course, are you afraid of clowns? How stupid. I mean, who's not afraid of clowns? But then they strip you down, literally to your underwear, and parade you across the stage. Again, trying to make you uncomfortable. They're calling out how tall you are, how much you weigh, how big your hand is. It's just like a meat market. And yeah, you are uncomfortable. So the Sooners have 4 players in Indy this week. Linebacker Kenneth Murray, nose guard Neville Gallimore, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and quarterback Jalen Hurts. It's always fun for me to watch these guys that I covered, got to know a little bit, take the next step in the process of living out their dreams. It's great. It's great fun. Neville Gallimore, for instance, today, he broke down in tears during his media interview when he was talking about his opportunity. He's like a lot of these guys in that he's got a true underdog story. He's from Canada, which, doesn't produce just a ton of NFL players. His parents were poor farmers from Jamaica. I mean, I've talked to him about that in the past, and I'm telling you guys, he just gets it. He's so humble. Another one who's so humble, CeeDee Lamb, said he wakes up every day and thanks God for the opportunities he's been given. He could be literally the top receiver taken in this year's draft. It's really this year's the deepest class of wideouts I think I've ever seen. And I think anybody from CD to Henry Ruggs to Jerry Jeudy, maybe Devontae Smith, T. Higgins even, Laviska Shenault, all these guys could be first rounders. There were 7 wideouts taken in the 2004 draft, guys like Larry Fitzgerald and Lee Evans, Michael Clayton, and you remember Rashawn Woods, of course. Now, there were 5 guys taken in the first round of the 2014 draft, guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks. The 14 class is actually regarded as a little better than the 2004 class with all those first rounders I named because the number of quality players taken in round 2 and later, guys like Jarvis Landry, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson. This class, 2020, could be that good. Now, and then to get back to the Sooners, Jalen Hurts said he's a quarterback, and that's that. I told you in a previous video that I have my doubts about his ability to quarterback an NFL team across the board, and that I thought maybe his best chance of making an impact in the NFL could be to play kind of a slash position like a Cordell Stewart or Taysom Hill, at least until he grows into it. But then we hear today that no NFL teams have asked Jalen to work out for them at any position other than quarterback. Interesting. So I guess that really is that. We'll see how that works out for him. And then I want to talk about Kenneth Murray. He wowed the NFL media corps today when he was asked about the story of him administering CPR and essentially saving the life of a young lady last summer. What gets me about this is that the story has been out there since the OU Daily reported it last year. The reporter, Caleb McCoury, he basically drove past and he saw it all happening. Kenneth Murray, is out there and he's doing CPR on a young woman. He witnessed it. So Kenneth got the question today during media interviews at the Combine. I mean, think about it. It's now a well-known part of his story. And several reporters, tweeted out NFL Perspective Combine. And because it's such an incredible story, and the reaction from ignorant fans on Twitter was to suggest that Kenneth Murray was lying, or that he was just now telling everybody about it because he wants NFL teams to draft him high because he wants everybody to think he's a really great guy or whatever. People, stop. First of all, it happened. He's not lying. It's true. It's 100% true. The OU Daily reporter, as I said, witnessed it himself. And then a couple days later, he was, he put in a request to the OU media relations staff to interview Kenneth Murray about it. Now, the part that may be hard to believe is that, once the young lady responded to Kenneth Murray's CPR efforts, he said he did maybe 70 chest compressions before she came to. He didn't want anyone to recognize him. He didn't want any credit for it. So he jumped in his car and he drove away. He didn't want a big announcement. He didn't post anything on social media or go around making any announcements. I saved a woman's life. He's a humble kid who got in his car and drove away and said, I'm glad I was able to help. The only reason it got out was because the reporter was actually on scene and requested an interview with Kenneth Murray. And so now the story is making its rounds among the NFL media corps, and there's a whole new audience, and I'm going to tell you, it's an audience that does not generally follow college football very much. And there's suddenly this weird skepticism that Kenneth Murray decided to go to the Combine, or maybe made up this story, and he's announcing this wild, fantastical tale about his roadside heroics. What? Well, first of all, again, I've covered the Combine a couple times. This is how it works from a media perspective. The players are scheduled to do press conferences ahead of time, okay? Actually, days ahead of time. And then they're escorted through this large room of predetermined speaking lecterns with lights and a microphone. If you're there as a member of the press, you look at the schedule and you figure out who you want to talk to, whose press conference you need to attend, who gets your questions. And then when the players come in, the media basically gathers around. It's a big stand-up. Sometimes it's a large group of media. Sometimes it's, rather small, depending on who it is. But, players are basically there to answer whatever questions they're asked. And in Kenneth Murray's case, the guy got asked a question about, hey, the time you saved a woman's life on the side of the road. He was courteous enough to tell the story. People can be so ignorant. And social media, like Twitter, actually encourages it. Don't bother to watch the video or review the quotes or read the story. Just go ahead and fire off some snarky response and, hey, your reply is out there for everyone to see. Mark Twain had a lot of incredible quotes in his time, and my favorite, without a doubt, is better to keep your mouth shut and let people think that you're a fool than to actually speak up and remove all doubt. There's a lot of fools on social media these days. Well, that's it for today. The players have all been measured and weighed. The media interviews are basically all over. The medical tests are pretty much finished. All that's left for them now at the Combine is to do the workouts. You know, the Underwear Olympics, I like to call them. And that gets going tonight on NFL Network. Next week, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about my experiences covering the NFL Combine from a media perspective. It's fun, including my debut in Sports Illustrated, yes, which was also the time Tim Tebow voluntarily gave me his autograph, which was also the time I pretty much threatened to end someone's life. All true, and it's an interesting story, and sometimes I think it could only happen to me. Remember, if you like this video, I encourage you to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, or share it in your social media channels, and tag me, and I will share it in mine. Also, please go find me on Twitter. I know what I said earlier. I'm on Twitter at John E. Hoover, and I'm on Facebook at John E. Hoover Media. Thanks for watching. See you guys.